Hello and welcome to a tutorial video on how to make quizzes or tests and examinations on edmodo.com. So first let's go to www.edmodo.com. Okay, so once it's loaded, if you have an existing account, just click login. Otherwise, click sign up. Then of course we will be selecting the teacher account. You can choose to sign up with Google if you have your Google account signed in. You can sign up with your Microsoft account or your Apple ID. Okay, but for this purposes, we will use email address. So I'm going to be using the email address of ASU Ibajay Teacher Education for this tutorial. So ASU ibajay.teachered.ed at gmail.com. So since I have LastPass enabled, which is a password manager, I'll just generate a secure password. But you can choose your own password, okay, and make sure it is strong. So make sure you use at least one capital letter or uppercase letter, one small letter or lowercase letter, one number, and one symbol or special character. Then duplicate your password. And if you have a school code, since we don't, because ASU has not signed up for an organization account on Edmodo, we don't have that yet, so just click next. Okay, so it tells us to check our email to verify our account. So let's go to our email. Okay, so first let's refresh, and there it is. So go to your email, log in, and then you'll see this message. Okay, so all you need to do to confirm the email is to click confirm my email, or alternatively you can just copy or right click, copy link, create a new tab, paste it, click enter. And then once it's loaded, it will tell you that your email address has been confirmed. Or verified rather. Then click next. You can then enter your details to complete your profile. So for the title, select Mr., Mrs., Miss, or Doctor. Okay, so let's say Mr. For the birth year, let's say 1980. Okay, click done. And there you go. So this is the startup page once you have created your account with Edmodo. So then you can customize it. You can change create your avatar, or upload a profile picture, much like you do when creating an email account or a Facebook account. Okay, so my internet is getting laggy. Okay, there you go. So here, you can just update your photo. Okay, so it asks me to verify my password. So if you created your own password, just put it in. But since I used my password manager to create my own password, I'm going to do that here. Okay, then verify. Okay, so once you have verified your password, then you can upload a photo or create your avatar. So for this, we're going to upload a photo. Okay, so let's say this one, a resized logo of the university, since I'm using ASU Ibajay Teacher Education as the profile name. So let's say we use that, and then click update. Alternatively, of course, you can personalize your own avatar. So you just click that, and then it will show you a lot of options to do that. Okay, so for information's sake, let's do that. Okay, so check there and then personalize your avatar. And then you have a lot of options here, so play around with it. And then once you've finished, click save and you're ready to go. Okay, but for now, we will use this photo we have uploaded rather. Okay, and then click OK. So there you go. All right, then you can add a short bio about yourself. Okay, so you can create a short about me section here, so it's your personal introduction about yourself. You can write a short essay about who you are and your teaching philosophy, what you believe in, what are your goals, so on and so forth. But for now, let's cancel that. All right, so at this point, we will create a class. Okay, wait, not yet. We will create first, or enter rather, our school. So, Aklan State University. Then we already have several entries here. So we will add this one. As you can see, my picture is already there because I'm one of the teachers that use this entry right here, along with 12 other people. So let's click this, and then there you go. Okay, so all of these options you can just fill out later, but for now, let's focus on classes. So up here, you can find shortcuts to all the basic sections of your account. So home, of course, brings you to the home page, the welcome page that we saw first once we've created our account. Then you have classes. Discover, it's a page where you can find all other classes of other users on Edmodo. What's trending, what are the latest updates from other teachers, and so on. So once you have personalized your profile and entered your interests, you will find that these, well, whatever is displayed here will reflect whatever your interests are. But for now, let's skip that. Then the library will contain all your resources that you have uploaded for your use and for your students' use. So you can also integrate, if you have a OneDrive account or if you have a Google Drive, then you can integrate those also here, but we'll not get into that right now. Then you have messages. Once you have students joined your classes or groups, and then they have messaged you, or if you have messages from other teachers, they will appear here. Then of course you can search for anything under your account in here. Then this one is the notification button. So if you have notifications, quizzes or assignments that are due, for example, messages from your students and from other teachers and so on, or from Edmodo itself, they will appear here. And then of course this is how you can personalize your account. So you can edit your profile, invite other teachers that are not yet on Edmodo, check your connections or add more connections with other people. Then check your groups, pages. I've not yet explored this. Okay, you can also connect your Microsoft Office account, personalize your settings also. If you need help, you can always visit this section here, or if you're done and you're using another computer or a public computer, make sure you log out. But if you're using your personal computer, you can just keep your account signed in. All right, so let's go to classes. So under classes, once you have your classes created, you have here class management, what's due, and the progress of your students. Okay, so let's click on that. So since it's a new account, we don't have a class. So to create your class, you can either click here or here. Okay, so let's click here. So for now, let's call this class Edmodo Create a Quiz. Okay, so you can describe your class here. Okay, you can put whatever you like there. Select a grade. So since we're a university, so we're going to choose higher education. Then subject. You can personalize this if you are creating your own classes, but for now, let's say all. Okay, and all also there. Then let's say green, color of the university. All right, and then click create. Okay, so once that's created, you can add students. Okay, of course you can create account for your students, but that will be time consuming. Okay, you can just invite them, but we will do that later. Okay, you can explore your class first. Okay, so that's the startup page for the class we've just created. Okay, so class code, this is what your students will use in order for them to join your class. So once you have sent out invitations to join your class on Edmodo, this is what they will use to sign in or to join the class. You can also add a class image if you have, let's say for example, a Zoom class or a Google Classroom class and you took a screenshot, you can use that as your image for your class. All right. So as you can see, it's a very useful interface, much like Facebook, which I'm sure all of us are familiar with. There are some helpful suggestions here also, like add students, send a welcome post, create and send an assignment, and this is what's important, create and send a quiz. Okay, so for now, let's select this. Okay, so here is how you will create a quiz. It's a bit ironic that we're creating a quiz without any students, but anyway, this is what this tutorial is all about, creating a quiz on Edmodo. We can worry about adding our students later. All right, so first, of course, is you need a quiz title. So let's say sample quiz. As you can see, while I'm typing, this section here is already updating. Okay, so instructions, you can add instructions here the same way that you start a quiz when you are creating a quiz or a test, for example. Now, don't be fooled by the term quiz, because quiz on Edmodo, it just means an exam. It could be a short quiz, it could be a long quiz, it could be a midterm exam, it could be a final exam. Just to make things easier, I guess, they use the term quiz. Alright, so sample quiz. Then instructions. Let's say, please accomplish this quiz. Something like that. You can create your own instructions. Alright. Anyway, it's just an additional feature of that quiz. So if you have ready-made instructions, or if you have lots more to say about the quiz, how do they answer it, how quickly they have to answer, or anything else, just put it here. Okay. Then let's go to quiz questions. Now we have a lot of choices here when it comes to questions. So you have here multiple choice, true or false, short answer, which is the same thing as identification, I guess, or a short essay answer. Then fill in the blanks, matching, which is the same as matching type, and then multiple answer. Okay, so first we'll go with a multiple choice quiz. So you type the question here. Let's say, okay, just a sample, a quick one. All right, so let's say, there you go. So once you have entered all the possible answers or responses, you can select the correct answer. So since our question is what year is it, we're going to choose 2020 as the correct answer. Be careful with this, because if you have selected the wrong entry or response or answer, of course, the scoring will be affected. Right? You can also attach files to it if you want students to read something regarding that question. Add a link if you have created another or this same question or the same quiz in another site, or you can add from library. This is interesting because once you have uploaded pictures or other resources into your library, you can just add them here. And for example, if you have a picture that goes along with your question, you can just add them here. Okay, so that's it. So for the grading, if this particular item is worth 1 point, of course you put 1 there, or if it's worth, let's say, 2 points, 3 points, and so on, just add them here. And then once you exit that particular field, it will automatically update. Of course, you have to be online for that. So let's say this is worth 1 point. So you can see it's saving all the changes automatically. All right, so you're done with the first question. So let's add another question, or you can also add from question bank. This is only possible if you have created a quiz previously. Okay, so you can duplicate the question and then edit it if you have several multiple choice questions, or if you're not satisfied with this question and you want to start over, you can just click delete question. Okay, so as of now, we're not going to delete that. So let's say add new question. Okay, so here it is. If you had to select another multiple choice question, then you may do so depending on the questions that you have. Okay, take note that you can create these questions in any order that you want, and later on you can just reorder them according to how your quiz or test or examination will go. So for the sake of information, let's choose another question type. Okay, so let's say true or false question. Okay, let's say that, right? So of course the answer to that is false, so we need to select false. Then again, enter here how many points you want that question to be worth. Then once you're satisfied with that question, you can add new question, okay, and all the changes will be saved automatically. Okay, so question number 3, let's say a short answer. Okay, so for first year students, this is a very common question. Okay, and as you can see, there are no other options except for how many points that question is worth. That's because it's a short answer question, so the students will have to type something or enter something depending on the question that you gave them. So in this case, they will have to enter an academic pillar of excellence for sustainable development, or APEX. And then once you grade this quiz, you can just read their responses and then mark that as either correct or wrong. Then another question, let's say fill in the blanks. Okay, filling in the blanks question works by putting underscores to specify where you want a blank to appear in the text. So for example, there, so we have 2 blanks. You can select 1 point or 2 points per correct answer, so each blank will have a corresponding point. Okay, so for the responses, you need to enter them here like that. So students will have to answer in the exact order for the question to be marked as correct. So an instruction like that will also be reflected in the question itself. Okay, so as you can see, you just need to enter underscores to create blanks in your question, and then you have to fill in the correct answers to that particular question, or the blanks in that particular question. So you can actually create a whole paragraph with various blanks in it for students to fill in. That's called a close test. Okay, and then you can just enter all the answers to those blanks to complete the paragraph. And of course, you can specify how many points each blank is worth. All right, so new question. Let's say matching. Okay, so let's say match. Okay, that's just a sample question. So, for example, this is and so on. So, if you need more blanks or options, you can just add response and then enter. There. Make sure that each response corresponds to the exact match that it has. Okay, so that will be the matches that will be checked once scoring is done. The system will automatically shuffle all of those answers so that the students will need to match them to each item. Okay. Additional answer can be provided to increase the difficulty of a matching question. So if you want additional answers that don't match to any of the items, you can add them here. Okay, for example, let's say there, or There. So it will appear as 5 choices or items here, and then a lot more responses. So they will have to choose from much more, not just the exact number of items that you have, to make that particular item or question more difficult. All right. So that's matching. Then you want to add another question. Let's say multiple answer. In this case, it's just like a multiple choice question, but it will have multiple answers. So more than just one correct answer. Okay, we all know how to create that. To save time, I'm not going to create a sample of that. So just type your question here, enter answer, the choices, and then just check whether those answers will be marked correct. Okay, so 1 point per available response. You can customize that depending on how you want those questions to be, or how many points you want those questions to be worth. Okay, so that's basically it. So once you have created that quiz, you can create as many questions as you like. Okay, so you can preview it. Okay, so it is an error because question number 6 doesn't have any entries. So we'll just delete this question. There you go. Then let's preview. Okay, so it says here you're currently in preview mode. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it will look like to your students. So question 1 is worth 1 point. Okay, and then so the question is, what year is it? Let's select C. Then next. Then question 2, also worth 1 point. Coronavirus is a hoax. True or false? So let's select false. Then next. 1 point. What is Aklan State University's vision? So let's just say Apex. And next. Okay, COVID-19 stands for coronavirus disease. There you go. And then next. Question 5. So what they will do is they will need to drag these. As you can see, there are 5 items. Of course, there are 5 campuses. And then they have to match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items to those 5 items. So it's a little bit more difficult rather than just having 5 choices here, because that will make sure that every item will be matched to a particular item here on the left. Okay, so let's match them up. Ibajay, we have Kalibo, we have Makato, New Washington, and Banga. Okay, so once they have done that, since there are no questions left, then there it is. So let's exit the preview. So that's how it will look like to your students. So there you have it. Here are the quiz details. So again, you can customize the instructions. Then you can also customize the quiz title. So whatever quiz, exam, or test that you have should also be reflected in the quiz title. And then the quiz questions, of course, is up to you. You can use any type of question. You can make them all essay questions if you want. Okay, so when you click the assign button, more options will be available. So let's do that right now. Okay, so assign to, once you have graded your classes, they will appear here. You just have to select which classes this particular quiz or exam will be assigned to. Then you may select a due date. So let's say we'll have October 16 as the deadline for this quiz. You can also set the time. Okay, and then you also have the option to lock the quiz after due date, meaning nobody else can take the quiz after the due date. Okay, and of course this is most important, the time limit for taking the quiz. Okay, so the default time limit is 60 minutes or 1 hour. So since we only have 5 questions, let's say they can answer that in 10 minutes. Okay, then you can also have the system randomize the question. Of course, it's important that it be added to the gradebook. Show results to students upon completion. Take note that this option will only show their results. If you have short question or short answer items or questions that require essay type answers, of course what the students will see will only be the results of the objective items and not the essay questions, because you still have to grade or to still have to check those essay questions to mark whether the students answered correctly or not, or you can assign a specific number of points for each question. Okay, so that will be for the checking. Okay, so once everything is looking good, you're satisfied with all the options, you can click assign. There you go. So once it's successfully assigned, you will have this pop-up message. Okay, so the quiz is now available for students to take in their class. If your students are taking the quiz using the Edmodo mobile app, make sure they update their app. Okay, so they can also their mobile app for answering this quiz, or they can just use, even if they're using mobile, they can just log on to a web browser, log on to Edmodo and log on to their account and then take the quiz. Okay, so as you can see, the quiz name is sample quiz, its status is assigned. Okay, and the due date will also be shown here, assigned to a class. You can assign a quiz to multiple classes. So for example, you have one subject with many sections or classes, then you can add them to specific classes, different classes, and then assign that particular quiz to all the sections under that subject. Okay, so once it's all looking good, just click on got it. So there you have it. Then you have that quiz. Okay, so as you can see, here it is. And then once students have been able to answer that quiz, once they have submitted the quiz, you will see them here, an overview. Of course, if you're not satisfied with the quiz, you can also edit it. Okay, so once they take the quiz, then you'll be able to check it. Okay, so to do or to see what that will look like, I need to log out first and show you a finished quiz that I had in my personal account. So what I will do is sign on, or sign in rather, to that particular account right now. Okay, as you can see, my password manager is very useful because I can just select which account I will be signing on or signing into. So let's select this one. Automatically it enters my email and my password and then log me in. Okay, so here I have my own account right here. So as you can see, there's a picture of me right there, and the classes are empty because I archived all the classes that I had. Okay, but let's see if we can find an existing quiz here in my library. Okay, so my quizzes. So as you can see, let's go back. I have a lot of resources updated here, or uploaded rather, uploaded to my library. Okay, so let's go here. So as you can see, there are a lot of previous quizzes that I have created before. So this is an example of what a quiz will look like if you start to grade it. Okay, so for example, Greek mythology quiz right here. Okay, so question 1 there. So the correct answer is letter A, but the student selected B, so of course that's wrong. As you can see here, all the questions and whether they have been marked correct or incorrect. These partial grade, it only means that it's a matching type question. Okay, another one here, it's a fill in the blank question, so one of the answers is incorrect, so of course only one is marked correct. And then this one is an example of a question that has a short answer. So the question is, briefly explain the origins of Aphrodite, any version. So the response was she was taken from Uranus by Cronus, which technically is wrong. Okay, so partial credit was awarded for this as a default, but of course you can just mark it as incorrect or correct. Okay, so it's worth 5 points. So for example, the student's answer is worth, let's say, 4 points. You can just put it there and automatically it will record as such, or you can just mark it as incorrect, so it will have no points, or correct, in which case it will award the full points. Okay, so once again, if you think that the answer is not close enough, or it needs improvement, or the question could have been answered better, you can just give partial credit. Okay, and then it will automatically be credited to the student's score. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial on how to create a quiz, an exam, or a test in Edmodo. So if you have questions, of course, you can always ask in our GCs or through private message. And I hope you learned a lot about how to sign up for Edmodo. There are still a lot of options and features that this site or app has. It's just a matter of exploring and experimenting what works. Okay, so I think we will have more tutorials like this one, so stay tuned for that. So thank you so much and have a good day.